Today is day 20 of building our application CocoaSwiftPlayer. I'm going to wrap up a little bit by fixing several bugs and talk about what may be the next project we are going to work on. So first, when I run our current application and try to compare with our sketch. So first of all, in Sketch, our main application doesn't have the title bar over there. And this is the application we have right now. I'm going to remove this. First of all, I'm going to create a subclass of window view controller. Perhaps I could just put it within view controllers. Create a new Cocoa class, which is a subclass of any window controller. And I'm calling it main window controller. Store it here. In this file, within the window didNo method, I'm going to paste these two lines. The first one is to make the title hidden. And the second one is to make the title bar becoming transparent. After setting this main window controller, we need to set it to our window in the storyboard. So I navigate to the views with the main.storyboard. Choose the window controller here, and then set the class with main window controller. I'll put this as the storyboard ID as well, just in case we need to know this view from code. If I run the application right now, it looks like this. To make the title bar disappear, we go to the storyboard and select window object. On the right side, find attributes inspector and choose full size content view here. Now the application will look like what we want in Sketch. I will just keep the close buttons here because it's kind of the standard of any Mac application. And even though it is transparent, by choosing this area and drag the window, I'm still able to move the window around the system. Next, I find out a bug where I am playing a song and try to adjust the volume here. It doesn't work because it didn't have the linkage to the corresponding IBAction yet. So I'm going to create this now. First, go to the view controller that's backing that part of the view, the player control. This is the player view controller. And then create a new IBAction. I will call it slide volume. This IBAction will be called when I am adjusting the volume or adjusting the slider. So the sender, it is the end slider itself. By receiving the action, this will adjust the volume inside the player manager. It is passing the sender's current value. I will use the one float value to get the current value. What I want to set is between 0 to 1. So now I need to open up the storyboard. First, select the slider in the player control. Find the values here. I want to change the maximum to 1 and the current value to be 0.5, meaning the default value. And then I'm going to the connection inspector and drag from action to our slide volume. For instance, when I adjust the volume on the slider, it will only having effect when I leave the mouse or having the mouse up event. So in order to make it changes continuously, we need to make sure we choose continuous at this part. We shall connect the status item view controller with the slider here to the player view controller as well. Actually, it should be connected to the status item view controller, but then it is a subclass of player view controller, so it is basically the same. And on the here with the slider selected, also change the maximum value to 1, default value to 0.5, choose continuous. In this case, you want to drag from the IBAction here to the slider. So now both sliders connect to the IBAction. When I adjust the value, it will trigger here to set the current float value, which is between the range of 0 to 1 to the manager.volume. Furthermore, I need to go into the manager to take a look on volume. Right now, it does nothing after setting the value. So I need to set this volume to our current player, which will actually affect the playing volume. We will have the deset here, and then use the player.volume to set the value into the player. So we could try out. Start playing the song. It reflects continuously. It works in the status bar app as well, but as you can see, when I just open it up, it shows the default value instead of the current player volume value. By the way, the song's name and the playing progress are not shown as well, so I need to work on these things to fix the lag spot. Let's start with the volume. In opening the status bar app, I will take a look on status item view controller here, and within the view did no method. That means when I open up the view of the status bar app, I'm going to set the default value or the current value of the volume to the slider. What I could do is to check whether the manager has the value. Say I'm going to take the manager here using here manager.shared-manager, the singleton we created before. And then for the current volume here, the IP outlet for the slider is called volume slider. I could set volume slider dot float value equals to manager dot volume. Say if I start playing at a lower volume and open up the status bar app, it shows like this. But then here's another problem. When I adjust the value, it doesn't adjust the value on the other side simultaneously. So I want to work on this. One way to do it is by setting up NS notification to send out when I am setting the volume in the manager, like this. Simply close it with a new constant I'm going to set up called volume changed. And then inside the player view controller, which is the superclass for both player control and the status bar application, I receive this notification and then update the slider with the value of the manager. This way is simple enough, but it seems like a lot of work in just setting basic synchronization between the two controls. Now run the application. So now, whenever I adjust the slider on one side, it adjusts accordingly on the other side. Later on, I hope to have a session about reactive programming, and it will help to simplify this operation a lot, and also having less number of lines of code. Next, I'm going to fix the bug about showing the current paying song name in the status bar app. Again, it is done within the viewDidNo method of the status item view controller. What I could do is simply setting the song name, song title label, string value with the manager's current song title. When the song is playing, actually the variable is playing within the manager will become true. So it's good to also check that boolean before actually setting the title. Especially, I will do nothing if the song is not playing. When manager is playing, that means the player is playing a song. The current song should have a value already. So in that case, I can simply unwrap current song in order to get unwrap string value of the title. this is needed to set it as the test build's string value. So now if I start playing the song and open up the status bar app, the title is shown. And whenever I switch song on both sides, those titles update accordingly. Then I'm going to fix the playing progress when I show this status item. Again, the straightforward thinking will be set that label in here as well, with the time label dot string value equal to manager something. However, if you remember, our current value is updated within player view controller when we implemented the player control. The code is around here. We have the song timer to make an update, and then we have the volume slider. Not this one. We have the song progress to keep track of the current values. We need to move these related code to the player manager in order to reuse the code for both player controls. So now within here, I'm going to add some new attributes, actually copying from player controller. First will be the song timer. Further on, I will use this song timer instead of the one in the previous file. I have the song progress to keep track of the double value. I will create one more, which will turn the song progress into text for us to show on a test field. This will be a string, and the value will be based on the song progress here. So now let's set it one by one. At least we could get this song progress test to show. Now I'm going to move the other parts of it, like when I change song, I'm going to reset the song timer. So when I change song, basically current song is set, and if it is set to a particular value, I would set the song timer equal to new. When I set song timer equal to new, I want to do several things. Firstly is, like here, I want to invalidate the previous timer. I could do this using the old value here, which still holds a reference to the previous timer object, and then invalidate this. The song timer equals to new was done when we have the current song is set. And then the next thing to do, when I set, after invalidating song timer, will be to reset the song progress to 0. Now I need a way to kickstart the timer. Previously, it was done when start playing is called. Start playing is called when a notification of a play happens. In terms of the player, it happens at this point after the play function is run and the play function in the player object is run. We could set up the song timer at this point. Basically, we just copy this to our player manager on this side. Then I will need to have the update progress function. Previously, it looks like this. Now, we could do it like this with the update progress function as well. But the sole purpose of this function is to increment the song progress property. The rest of the code is for display purpose. We can move it to the song progress text here. As a first glance, I could just copy the code. And then for the return, it actually returns the value here. Whoever takes the value can then set the string result to its own label field.string value. In this case, I don't want to initiate this formatter that many times, so I could create a lazy variable here. It will be called the first time it is used, and I would also rename this as time formatter to make this more clear. This is still an NSState components formatter. It equals to the setting here inside, and it will return formatter after it is configured. So on this part, I can change this to time formatter. So as I have set those things in the player manager, I could remove these from the player view controller. These codes become obsolete. One more thing I didn't do on this side is about pause playing. I need to invalidate the timer as well. To do that, go to pause. I will set song timer to new and double check it by seeing the decheck function. It invalidates the old reference to the previous timer, but this time it shouldn't be setting song progress to 0. So in fact, this line of code has a problem. I will cross it out first and think again. When do we need to set song progress to 0? It only happens when we change the song. So now I go back to current song. I'd rather set the song progress to 0 at this point. So I can remove this. Now pause playing is moved, start playing is moved as well, and in here, when I change song, it resets the value. Song progress is set to 0. I can remove this property and the song timer. Remove these accordingly. Now we can take a look by running the application. Start playing. There's an error already. So this one is simple. Saying start playing is missing. As we remove that notification function already, we can remove the observation to those functions and run it again. Start playing. And then show it here. So seems there is a problem. It shows the value at that particular moment, but it didn't update it accordingly. So even though we have the manager updating its progress, we still need to have our player view controller to to set a scheduler and retrieve the value from the player manager continuously. So in this case, what I'm going to do is undo it. I will keep the song timer here and still set up this song timer. Just like before. And then add the function back, but this time I'm not incrementing the song progress. What I would do is just to set the label value by grabbing the current song progress text from the manager. Let's run it and take a look. So now start playing. The timer here works, and the one here works as well. If I pause it, both of them pause there. Start it again. And then go to next song. These all works. Great, we have done it. So as you can see, after 20 days of videos, we basically implement such a player application which grabs the songs from iTunes, having the player in our own application do most of the controls for a song player. We have the playlist, we have the song list, and a bunch of different things. There may be still bugs in our application, but let me hand it to you and submit issues or pull requests to my repository. I hope to create some more bonus videos for this application, but I do have some other ideas to build as well. Feel free to let me know whether you want to see more videos in terms of a single topic or the one like this as an application. Thank you very much.